Imagine this: a winter night in Siberia. Temperatures drop to -30 degrees Celsius. 9 young hikers, experienced, healthy, smart, sleeping in their tent in the middle of a white wilderness. Then, something happens. The tent is cut open from the inside. They flee outside, barefoot, without jackets, without shoes, into waist-deep snow. They never returned. When they are found, their bodies lie scattered across the snow. Some with broken ribs, some with crushed skulls, one girl without a tongue, and traces of radiation on their clothes. This isn't a movie. This actually happened. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident. It all began in January 1959. A group of 10 students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute planned a skiing expedition through the mountains of the northern Urals. They were led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. Young, full of life, adventurous, all members of the local mountaineering club eager for a challenge. Their goal, to climb Mount Oterten. The name in the local Mansi language means, "do not go there." One member, Yuri Yudin, had to drop out due to back pain and returned home. The other 9 continued. That was the last time anyone ever saw them alive. Welcome to Drawn to Crime. If you enjoy these true, chilling stories from real life, leave a subscribe and a like. Your support helps us continue delivering these investigations and new episodes. On February 1st, 1959, the group reached Mount Koletsyakl, which also translates to Mountain of the Dead. The weather was terrible, with strong winds and a snowstorm. Instead of descending to the valley, they decided to pitch their tent on the slope. Maybe to show bravery, maybe to earn extra points for their mountaineering licenses. That night, something forced them to flee the tent in a panic. Nobody knows what. When the rescue team arrived a few days later, the tent was cut open from the inside, as if they tried to escape. Not normally, but literally tearing through the fabric. Inside the tent were their boots, coats, knives, cameras, everything they needed to survive. Footprints led downhill into the forest, some barefoot, some in socks. The first bodies were found near a small pine tree. They lay face down, barefoot, in their underwear. It looked as if they had tried to light a fire. Around them, tree branches were broken up to 5 meters high, as if someone had tried to climb, maybe to see the tent, maybe to escape something. A little further, the bodies of 2 more were found, including their leader, Igor Dyatlov. Frozen, hands reaching back toward the tent, as if trying to return. 2 months later, when the snow melted, the remaining 4 bodies were found deeper in the forest, in a snowy ravine. Then everything became even stranger. One girl, Lyudmila Dubinina, was found without a tongue, without eyes, missing part of her face. On her clothing, and on the clothing of one of the boys, traces of radiation were discovered. Others had broken ribs and damaged internal organs, but no external wounds, as if struck by an immense force, but no explosion, no rocks, no avalanche. Nothing around them was disturbed. Autopsies concluded. Cause of death, a combination of hypothermia and an unknown force. Soviet authorities quickly closed the case. The report stated, cause of death, the action of a powerful natural force. But nobody ever explained which force. And why were their bodies so far apart? Why did they flee barefoot into the snow? Why was the tent cut from the inside? Why did some have internal injuries like a car crash, but no sign of struggle, no external wounds? Theories piled up over the decades. Some claimed it was an avalanche, but the tent remained partially upright. No signs of a typical avalanche were found. Others suggested nearby Soviet weapons testing. Maybe they heard an explosion, panicked, and ran. But that doesn't explain the internal injuries and radiation. Some believed they witnessed something forbidden, and the military cleaned up the site. Others suggested infrasound vibrations that could induce panic and disorientation. Some mentioned glowing spheres in the sky, which were reportedly seen at the time. Yuri Yudin, the only one who survived because he stayed behind, spent his life with guilt and the question, why me? In interviews, he said, I will never know what happened to them, but I know they didn't die from the cold alone. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case. After months of investigation, the official conclusion: avalanche. But many experts disagreed. The slope wasn't steep enough, and the way the bodies were found still didn't match this version. In 2021, Swiss scientists used software simulations to model a slab avalanche scenario and showed it could trigger panic and injuries. Yet, even if that's true, it doesn't explain why they cut the tent from the inside, why they ran without shoes, and why their clothes showed radiation. To this day, Dyatlov Pass remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. The site is now called Dyatlov Pass, and every year hundreds of hikers visit the snowy hill, leaving flowers and candles in memory of the 9 lost souls. The snow melts each year, covering the mountain again, but the secrets remain buried under the ice. Maybe it was nature, maybe a military experiment, or maybe something we still cannot explain. One thing is certain. That night in February 1959, 9 young people didn't die from the cold alone. They fled from something that has never been revealed, and maybe never will be. You have been watching Drawn to Crime. If you enjoyed this true story, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because a new mystery, even deeper and even more chilling, is coming soon.